I still remember the day they sold my car, a used Honda Civic I'd bought with 2 years of savings from my part-time jobs. I stood in our driveway watching the new owner drive away with my independence while my mother beamed like she'd just solved world hunger. "Your brother needs this money more than you need a car," she said, counting the cash. "Michael's MBA is an investment in this family's future." Michael, my golden child younger brother, didn't even look up from his phone. "Thanks, sis. I'll totally make it up to you once I'm a big-shot executive." I was 22, fresh out of college with a computer science degree they hadn't bothered to attend the graduation for. Michael was their pride and joy, accepted into Wharton's MBA program with grades that were mediocre at best. But in my parents' eyes, business school was the only path to success. "You can take the bus to your programming job," my father added, already stuffing the money into an envelope marked Michael's tuition. "It's not like you need to impress anyone." My programming job. They made it sound like I was fixing printers at a strip mall. In reality, I just landed a junior developer position at Eclipse Technologies, one of the fastest-growing software companies in Boston. But they'd never bothered to ask the details. "The bus doesn't run to my office park," I said quietly. "Then walk," Michael smirked. "Consider it exercise. God knows you spend too much time in front of computers anyway." That night, I sat in my tiny bedroom looking at my bank account. The car money would have covered my deposit on an apartment near work. Instead, I was stuck living at home watching Michael pack for his bright future, while my parents fawned over his every move. My phone buzzed, a message from Alex Chin, my team lead at Eclipse. "Your code for the security patch is brilliant. Want to grab coffee tomorrow? Have an interesting proposition for you." That coffee meeting changed everything. Alex had spotted something in my work that others had missed. He was leaving Eclipse to start his own company, focusing on AI-driven cybersecurity. He wanted me as his first hire. "It's a risk," he admitted over steaming cups at the local cafe. "No guaranteed salary for the first year. Just equity and a promise." I thought about my parents' dismissal, Michael's smirk, the empty space in our driveway where my independence used to park. "I'm in." For the next 6 months I worked 2 jobs. Days at Eclipse, nights and weekends with Alex in his garage-turned-office. My parents barely noticed my absence. They were too busy FaceTiming with Michael, cooing over his business school adventures. "He's networking with future CEOs," my mother gushed at dinner one night. "Meanwhile, you're still playing with computers in some startup." If she'd bothered to check, she'd have known that some startup had just secured its first major client, a Fortune 100 bank desperate for our AI security solutions. But I kept quiet, remembering Alex's words about staying under the radar until we were ready. The first year was brutal. I slept on Alex's couch after we lost the garage office, coding until my eyes burned. My parents' constant updates about Michael's successful business school career became background noise. "He's got an interview at McKinsey," my father announced proudly. "Now that's a real career." I nodded, not mentioning that our startup, now named Quantum Shield, had just been valued at $50 million after our series of funding. Alex and I had celebrated with cheap champagne in our new office. A real office with actual furniture and a view of the Boston skyline. 3 years passed. Michael graduated with his MBA, his future supposedly secured. My parents threw him a lavish party, inviting everyone they knew to celebrate their son's achievement. "Michael's already interviewing at top firms," my mother told anyone who would listen. Unlike some people who waste their time with risky ventures. I showed up late to the party, having just finished a meeting with our board. Quantum Shield had grown beyond our wildest dreams. Our AI security systems protected banks, governments, and tech giants. We'd opened offices in 3 countries. And I hadn't told my family any of it. "Oh, you came," Michael said, champagne in hand. "Still doing that coding thing?" I smiled, thinking of the nameplate on my corner office. "Alexandra Matthews, Chief Executive Officer." "Something like that." "Well, not everyone can be successful," he said with fake sympathy. "But hey, at least you're employed." "Sort of." My phone buzzed. "Our head of HR. Final candidate list for executive positions is ready for your review. You won't believe who just applied." I opened the attachment and there it was. Michael Matthews, MBA. Applying for a VP position at Quantum Shield, not knowing his sister was the CEO he'd have to impress. "Actually," I said to Michael, I have an early meeting tomorrow. Big things happening at work. He laughed. Right. Big things. Like a promotion to senior code monkey. I left the party early driving my new Tesla, not that they'd noticed, back to my penthouse apartment. Tomorrow would be interesting. Michael's interview was scheduled for 9 a.m. sharp. In my home office I reviewed his application. Mediocre grades from Wharton, no real work experience, just internships and networking opportunities. But the confidence in his cover letter was staggering. I will revolutionize your company's approach to business. I poured myself a glass of wine, remembering the day they sold my car. An investment in the family's future, they'd called it. Tomorrow, Michael would learn exactly what kind of future his sister had built, without an MBA, without their support, and without their precious car money. Quantum Shield's headquarters occupied the top 10 floors of Boston's most prestigious office tower. I arrived early, watching the sunrise reflect off neighboring buildings while I reviewed Michael's interview schedule. He's waiting in the lobby, my assistant Emma reported, wearing a suit that probably cost more than his first month's salary would be, if we were actually considering hiring him. I smiled, remembering Michael's designer wardrobe, all funded by our parents' investment in his future. How's he acting? Like he already owns the place. He told reception to make sure Matthews knows he's here early. Apparently he thinks that's impressive. I checked my appearance in the office's glass wall designer suit CO badge, the quiet confidence that came from building a billion-dollar company from nothing. Let's not keep him waiting. Send him to conference room A. But first, give me the full report from his preliminary interviews. Emma handed me a tablet. It's interesting. He talked over the HR director, mansplained cybersecurity to our female VPs, and told the board member he interviewed with that their current business model was outdated. Sounds like Michael. I scrolled through the notes. Has he figured out who I am yet? No. He assumes Matthews is a man. Called you him several times during the process. Perfect. I gathered my materials and headed to the conference room, remembering all the times Michael had dismissed my work as playing with computers. He stood when I entered, his practiced MBA smile freezing as recognition hit. Alex. That's Ms. Matthews to you. I sat at the head of the table. Or CO Matthews if you prefer formality. He sank back into his chair, face draining of color. This is your company? Quantum Shield. Yes. That coding thing you've mocked for years built this. I gestured to the view of Boston spread out below us. Though I'm surprised you didn't know. We're quite well known in the business world you claim to understand so well. But you're just a programmer. A programmer who built a billion-dollar company while you were learning PowerPoint at Wharton. I opened his resume. Speaking of which, let's discuss your application. Michael's confidence visibly crumbled as I went through his experience point by point. Every internship, every leadership opportunity, suddenly seemed small in the face of what I'd accomplished. Your grades were mediocre, I noted. But I'm sure that car money helped cover tuition. He flinched. Alex, listen, about the car. Ms. Matthews, I corrected. And I'm not interested in apologies. I'm interested in why you think you're qualified for an executive position at my company. I have an MBA from Wharton. Yes, you mentioned that 6 times in your cover letter. What else? Silence. No major accomplishments? No revolutionary ideas? Just daddy's money and a degree. I closed his file. Tell me, Michael, how's that MBA working out? He straightened his designer tie, trying to recover. Look, we're family. Surely that counts for something. Family. I laughed. Was I family when you took my car? When you dismissed my career? When you and our parents treated me like a failure? That was years ago. People change. Yes, they do. I pressed the intercom. Emma, please escort Mr. Matthews out. And make sure his application status is updated to rejected, not qualified. Wait. He stood up desperately. Mom and Dad will be devastated. They've been telling everyone about this interview. I thought about all the parties, all the celebrations of Michael's achievements while they ignored mine. They'll survive. Though you might want to update them on who's really successful in this family. As security arrived to escort him out, his face turned ugly. You're doing this for revenge. No, Michael. I'm doing this because you're not qualified. Your MBA doesn't entitle you to success. I turned back to my work. The bus stop is 2 blocks east. Consider the walk exercise. After he left, Emma brought in my next meeting's materials. Your mother's called 6 times already. Send them an email, I said. Official company letterhead. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Matthews, thank you for your son's interest in Quantum Shield. Unfortunately. Want me to add that the CO sends her personal regrets? No. I smiled. Add that the position has been filled by someone with actual experience. Someone who didn't need a car sold to fund their future. That evening as I drove my Tesla home, my phone exploded with family messages. My mother's panic was palpable. Why didn't you tell us? We would have supported you. My father tried guilt. Family should help family succeed. Michael sent a single text. You've ruined everything. I parked in my building's private garage thinking about that empty driveway years ago. No, I typed back. I built everything. Without your MBA. Without their support. And without that car. The next day, the business news announced Quantum Shield's latest acquisition, a struggling consulting firm that specialized in MBA placement. My first executive decision? Implementing a new hiring policy that prioritized practical experience over business school degrees. When Michael's next job application crossed my desk, this time for an entry-level position, I had Emma send our standard rejection letter. At the bottom, I added a personal note. Perhaps try learning to code. I hear it's more valuable than PowerPoint skills. Sometimes success isn't about proving others wrong. Sometimes it's about building something so magnificent that their expectations become irrelevant. And sometimes, just sometimes, it's about watching your MBA-wielding brother realize that his sisters, playing with computers, built an empire his business degree couldn't buy him into. A month later, I heard through family gossip that Michael had finally found a job at a small tech startup, learning to code. Sometimes karma has a sense of humor. I sent him a bus pass as a congratulations gift. After all, family should help family succeed. The empty space where my car once sat had been filled with something far more valuable. The knowledge that success doesn't come from degrees or family support. It comes from believing in yourself when no one else will. And maybe, just maybe, from proving that a programmer with a dream can outshine an MBA with all the advantages in the world.